just spend a few minutes here on what I think is a really important concept that the recent work that we just talked about, your new cyber, colleague that Ethan Malik, Kareem Lakhani, and 8 other authors just reported about a fantastic new study they have done at Procter and Gamble. And the thing about this is I think it really changes our headset in terms of how we think about what these robots are. And a lot of people talk about the traditional kind of, well, AI can do this, but it can't do creativity, or it can't do this, or it can't have insight. That's totally the wrong way to think about it. It really is a conversation partner. Sure, there's plenty of automation, but there's also a conversation partner, and then there's going to be agentic stuff later. We're going to talk a lot about the conversation partner thing right now. The important thing to remember is that the operating system of humanity, as well as organizations, is stories and dialogue. And now we have the apportionment of thinking responsibilities in a dialogue way, which fundamentally changes how we think about organization and productivity. So the critical question, I believe, is what's your mix of digital and human workers by the end of this year, by the end of 3 years from now? And if you're not asking yourself that question, you're going to be behind. Do you believe it's okay to wait and see what unfolds? I don't think so, because the amount of learning in that dialogue is tremendous. And then a really interesting question is going to be, anytime there's automation or improvement in productivity, there's a surplus. And will the investors get all the surplus? Will the customers get it all? Or will the employees? Okay, we go to the next one, Paul. The inspiration for this came back in 1993, 94. I had an office next to a guy named Ben Kaczynski, and we created this paper back then. It was published in 95. We call cognitive reapportionment. Imagine the world as a set of cognitors, some of them people, some of them machines. We got inspiration from modern aircraft. Sometimes the pilot's flying, sometimes they're dealing with the bombs, the machine's taking care of the flying, and so we said, well, that's starting to happen in organizations. We go to the next one, Paul. And this actually is from the tomb of Tutankhamun here. This is from 1994, where we put together uh, just a table that talks about old roles, clerk and so forth, new roles. Look at the first one: analytic tool active, actively guiding, analyzing, commenting on decision processes and analyses. So, it looks a lot like agents, right? Greater scale specificity. You can see the notion of going into the logic of existing IT systems, figuring out what those were. So we could see at the time that we're going to have, different cognitors that are going to dynamically go back and forth by context and competence. Now, let's get to the new research. Paul, if you go to the next one. This is the cybernetic teammate research. They had they had one treatment across two groups. So they had an individual with no AI, a team with no AI, an individual with AI, and a team with AI. Go to the next one. Unbelievable. Here's the performance. Individual with no AI is over on the left-hand side. You've seen Block's plots, right? That's the standard deviation of the average that you see at the top of the histogram, right? So that's what the little do funnies are, look like I-beams. So you have a team with no AI. An individual with AI outperforms the team with no AI. Think about that for a minute. And this is for new product innovation at Procter and Gamble. This is over 700 people that put into this thing. Procter and Gamble knows a little bit about new product innovation. Then a team with AI does better. Next, Paul. Time saved. Look at that. Massive time saved. The team actually does worse than an individual, spends more time. An individual with AI, phenomenal time savings. Next. This was kind of surprising. Evolution of positive emotion during the task. So people felt better interacting with the AI as part of the team. Next one. This one I think is very, very interesting. You have an individual with no AI, team, individual, and team with AI. Look at the top. This is the top 10% of quality. And by the way, the judges didn't know, of course, they did it properly. The judges didn't know where the solution came from. And so this is on creativity and practicality, which are the two main dimensions that P&G has in their new product innovation process. So the data are really clear from this cross-sectional study. They did one day of innovations, over 700 people, that an individual with AI is better than a team, and a team with AI beats it all. And I think that's got profound implications for how we think about organizing and dealing with organizations. So we go to the next one, Paul. I just want to return to these questions. So every organization with results like this should be asking themselves, do you think it's okay to wait and see? I would say no, because there's a learning effect, both for the robots and for the organization. Second, think carefully about when you get this surplus. I would recommend investing it back in some of the labor, just the way Henry Ford did, as we've talked about before, when he went for the $5 a day, as opposed to the $2.50 a day. He doubled the going wage. And the most important question of all, what is your mix of digital and human workers by the end of this year, by the end of 3 years from now? And if you don't know the answer to those or aren't considering them, you're making a big mistake.